things I know are true. The Cubs lost because the Marlins are better. The Red Sox will lose because the Yankees are better. Or at least they better be. The Dr. Seuss postage stamp would be a great idea if anyone sent letters anymore. And I'm Max Kellerman. Now, if there were a stamp with yours truly on it, nobody'd lick it.
It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter. Here's Max Kellerman.
Welcome back to me. We're talking Pedro versus Clemens in Game 7. The Cubs collapse, of course. And LeBron versus the Lakers, all with our national panel. And here they are at the Los Angeles Times. It's J.A. Adonde. How you doing, J.A.? At the Denver Post, it's Woody Page. At the Dallas, yes, you dressed like you came from a funeral. At the Dallas Morning News, it's Tim Calishaw. Howdy, Tim. And at the Chicago Sun-Times, it's Jay Marriott.
You know what? I am the Billy Goat, by the way.
How is that? What? We're the show that scores the argument. That nonsense stuff off the top of the show. And here's how I do it with these joysticks and mute buttons. I give these guys points based on point of view, style, and information. Good answers get 2, great ones 3, and I use the mute button, usually on Jay Mariotti. We eliminate guys, so a one-on-one showdown determines the winner. Let's make it happen.
It's the first word.
The first words are holy cow, and not in a good way. The Cubs blew it. They blew a 3-1 series lead by blowing a 5-3 lead last night after blowing a 3-0 lead the night before last. Those amazing Florida Marlins behind Pudge Rodriguez, Miguel Cabrera, Josh Beckett, of course, and manager Jack McKeon, who's huge, are going back to the World Series 6 years after completely dismantling their 1997 World Series winning team. Guys, was it the curse or the Marlins that beat the Cubs? Around the Horn of Chicago, and Jay Marriott.
I mean, they choked because of the curse. They allowed the psychological impediment to get in the way, Kellerman. We get back from Florida the other day. Some of the Cubs, including Pryor, start talking about, hey, would you guys stop bringing up 1984, 1945? And all of a sudden, I'm starting to think, my God, they're cracking. In the meantime, they play a team, the Marlins, loosey-goosey as they come. The worst possible team to play. They're tight. Yes, they gag, they choke.
Jay, what is it about you people in Chicago? You want to blame Mrs. O'Leary's cow. You want to blame Billy Goats. You want to blame everything but the Cubs. The Marlins are the team that won that series. It had nothing to do with hexes and curses or anything like that. You think about Josh and Pudge and Juan and Miguel. Those guys came into that series underdogs. But what is forgotten in all this is since May, Florida has been the best team overall in all of baseball. If you look at the record, they lost.
It's not about Josh and Pudge. It's about Billy Cyanis and the Billy Goat. There are greater forces at work here. The Cubs had a nice little stat going. They hadn't lost back-to-back games when Pryor and Kerry Wood have gone on the hill in consecutive games. Well, guess what? That didn't stand a chance against 58 years of futility without going to a World Series. You can't explain these events. Alex Gonzalez, the best fielding shortstop in the National League, can't handle a simple ground ball. You saw that diving catch he made last night when it was too late. The curse had already taken effect. It's the curse.
Not everything is about Chicago. Not everything is about the Cubs. Woody's on the right track here. The Marlins did a great job of situational hitting, of wearing down the pitchers with these long counts. You know, the Cubs did a terrible job of pitching to Pudge, threw him way too many fastballs. But Dusty Baker, he tried to ride Pryor and Wood too hard. He's a great manager. Nobody questions it, but Pryor was tiring in the 8th. Wood didn't have it at all last night. This is Game 7.
Okay, what about Mariotti? What about the pitch counts for Pryor and Wood? They
don't have any middle relievers. I've been telling you that all your Dave Beers, Mark Guthrie, these guys don't cut it. You can't blame Dusty Baker here. Granted, pitch counts did catch up to both Wood and Pryor, but Dusty did not have a lot of options.
Tim, respond.
Kerry Wood's a guy who's had arm trouble, a young pitcher. He's the only National Leaguer who threw over 4,000 pitches this year.
That's right. And he's blown out his arm once already. Woody, quick.
It's just a final point is the Cubs have to get past the point of blaming fans. They've got to accept that they were beaten by a better baseball team.
I think finally they have. But Mariotti's point, psychologically, they hear it all the time. Unconsciously, maybe you start to believe it. Guys like Mariotti always writing about it. Next topic. What? They what? Somehow the Yankees failed to close out the Red Sox. Andy Pettitte wasn't sharp. Jose Contreras didn't get it done. Joe Torre had a bad 7th inning. And the Boston bullpen, Todd Jones, Mike Timlin, Alan Embry, and Scott Williamson, bullpen by committee, looked great as the Sox set up tonight's epic Game 7, Curse of the Bambino in the balance. The Yanks trying to punk Pedro, Sox trying to retire Roger. It's as simple as this, guys. Who do you like? Around the horn to Woody Page.
Pedro versus Rocket. This is a game and a pitching match for the ages. If there is a God and he is involved in sports, he is setting us up, guys. He's already done it to the Cubs. He's now going to do it to the Yankees. And the Red Sox are going to win tonight. Pedro, this is his stage, the moment he's looking for. I know this is all about Roger Clemens' last game pitching in the major leagues. But I'm telling you what, the Red Sox are coming into New York, and you're going to be the next one to choke all over this.
All right.
No, look, I knew Woody couldn't get 2 in a row right. Roger Clemens is going to finish his career losing to the Red Sox, letting him go to the World Series.
That's what's great about it,
It's like Michael Corleone said to Kay, don't you know I'd use everything in my power to keep that from happening? That will not happen. That can't happen.
That's right. They get the
the
kids
law of
like
averages
Corleone.
has to happen, Tim. I think, Roger Clemens this season hasn't been the complete dominant guy as in the past. I mean, got to give him a break. He's getting up there in age. But he's just as likely to give up 4 runs as he is to give up 2 runs or fewer. I looked it up. Pedro Martinez is due, too, to have just a complete shutdown performance. He's going to be fired up. The fans are going to be gunning for him after he took out Don Zimmer with that Olay move. So he's going to be fired up. And Nomar Garcia-Parra is back, 4 for 5 last night. He's finally
Yeah, but
hitting again.
Donde,
They're
this
in
is
good
not
shape.
the same Pedro we remember. This guy doesn't have the same stuff. I mean, this guy has an ERA of over 4.0 in the postseason. He hasn't gotten past the 7th inning yet. His strikeout totals are down. That tells me it's not Pedro Martinez. Plus, I don't know where he is emotionally. 57,000 Kellermans are going to be screaming at him. There is no chance Roger Clemens loses in this scenario.
Woody,
Roger has been
hold on.
rising.
Woody, you had something to say?
Jay is the same guy who told us that the Cubs were going to win in 3 games over the Marlins. Let me make one point to you. You have the 2 best teams in all of baseball, really. You have the 2 best evenly matched teams. This will be the 26th time they played this year. Nobody in the history of baseball has had that many meetings. And
the
right
Elias
now,
Sports
it's
Bureau?
13 to 12 Yankees. It's going to be ending up 13 to 13.
Okay, all right.
unlucky
Adonde,
number, Woody.
last word, Adonde.
I hear unluck. That's an unlucky number. Also, you just have to look at the fact Roger Clemens hasn't been the man of the moment. Look how many times it took him to win a 300th game this year. He hasn't been Mr.
However, Roger Clemens had his 2nd best year statistically as a Yankee this year, and he's the one throwing in the mid-90s. Pedro's the guy who with an 88-mile-an-hour fastball right now. I think based on that, you gotta like the Yankees' chances. Though they have 2 big holes in their lineup with Aaron Boone and Chris
You're
Garcia.
just a fan.
The Red Sox don't have
Mariano
those holes.
Rivera.
The Red Sox, Bill James' sabermetric team don't have those holes. Buy or sell is next.
Coming up, not everybody's doing the Bartman, but it only takes one. Should this poor son of a Cub fan ride it out in Windy City or blow town? Plus, not everybody's high on the Cowboys. Find out which NFL star put Dallas down. The Horn. Buy or sell?
It's buy or sell time. Let's keep it moving. First topic, the newly formed Charlotte Bobcats. God, I hate that name. Pulled NBA retread Bernie Bickerstaff out of the recycling bin and made him the team's head coach and general manager. Bickerstaff spent 10 years coaching the Sonics, Nuggets, and Bullets, let's face it, into mediocrity, and was most recently GM of the WNBA's Charlotte Sting. Buy or sell the hiring of Bickerstaff in Charlotte, Donde?
Buy it, because when he did coach the Bulls, he actually coached them into the playoffs. I was covering that team. He did a good job with them. Look, this team is nowhere near the playoffs. They're not going to go anywhere soon. So as long as they're just kind of spinning around, might as well have Bernie Bickerstaff at the wheel.
That's right. Woody?
I'm Sally. I can't believe you'd say that, J.A. He was the worst general manager, and what was funny is he was even worse as a coach. I tried to run his ass out of Denver and finally succeeded, ran him to Washington. He ended up with the Globetrotters. That's the only place where he can't screw it up and where he can have a winning record.
I don't know if you can say all those things on TV, Woody. Tim?
He just did. I'm selling, this guy doesn't have the greatest track record. Why give a guy that much power, coach and GM? That hardly ever works.
Jay?
Dikembe Mutombo once said it, Bernie Bickerstaff's head is not in this game. That was 7 years ago. So why would his head be in it now? I'm going to sell Bickerstaff.
Yep. Next topic. We learned Wednesday afternoon that Broncos QB Jake Plummer will miss 3 to 5 weeks with a broken foot. We learned later that Plummer's injury was made more severe at home as he was getting up off the couch. Lesson: never get up off the couch. Steve Berline starts in Plummer's place. Do you buy or sell the Broncos as better with Steve Berline in place of Jake Plummer, Woody?
Of course not. I have to sell this. Unfortunately, Plummer has given a whole new meaning to the words couch potato, but I have to reevaluate. I think now it's going to be 17-2.
Flip-flop, flip-flop.
I'm selling this. I've seen Steve Berline win playoff games in Dallas. That was 12 years ago.
Right.
You know, this guy is not the most mobile of quarterbacks. I think they're in trouble.
Mariotti.
You know, I'm selling this. We took up the curse of the Billy Goat here in Chicago, the curse of the Woody Goat. You got Greasy last year tripping over a dog, and now this guy falling off a couch. Steve Berline is not as mobile as Jake Plummer. You got to sell this.
Yeah, okay, fine. But you know what? Tim just brought up the mobility point. Adande.
I'm selling. I know Tim brought up the age thing. This guy played with the Raiders in 1988 with Bo Jackson. Also, are we really sure what the true nature of Jake Plummer's injury? We know how Mike Shanahan likes to lie about those injuries.
Yeah, but then again, the key to the Broncos, it's the O-line and Clinton Portis. Give him the ball and let him go. He's mobile. Next topic. The mandatory summit called for all Division I college basketball coaches spit out a new code of ethics created to avoid future embarrassments like the Larry Eustace and Dave Blitz situations. Detroit Free Press columnist Drew Sharp writes today that this summit is nothing more than a public relations ploy to fool media and fans into believing that the coaches finally get it. Buy or sell Drew Sharp's take on the coaching code of ethics. Kalishaw.
I have to buy it. As long as all this money is out there for winning, coaches are going to do what they have to do. And, you know, just to get to this meeting, they had to bribe him, saying you may lose your Final Four tickets if you don't come to this meeting.
That's a good point, Jay.
Yeah, I'm buying this. A big-time publicity stunt. You know, they tell us about raising the standard. What they didn't tell us was, what is the punishment if somebody doesn't raise the standard? These guys were all out on Rush Street last night anyway, partying. I'm going to buy Drew Sharp.
Adande.
I'm buying. I mean, look, they already have an NCAA manual about this thick. They can't follow that. You think they're going to follow the instructions in some little leaflet now? Come on.
Right. Woody.
I'm selling it. I said yesterday that anything that can be done has got to be constructive, and they did come up with a code of ethics. And Mariotti, you're wrong. They did come up with ways that they can punish coaches, not allow them to participate in the award ceremonies, not allow them to do
playing any reindeer games?
Okay, Mariotti, answer that quick.
No, they didn't. I didn't see it in what I read this morning.
Then you were busy.
No, they didn't. That was constructive. Next topic. Steve Bartman, the Cubs fan who went after that foul ball preventing Moises Alou from making a catch for out number 2 in the 8th inning of NLCS Game 6, issued a sincere apology to Chicago. Florida Governor Jeb Bush offered Bartman asylum in Florida, a 3-month all-expense-paid retreat in a Pompano Beach Holiday Inn. Do you buy or sell Bartman opting for Governor Bush's offer of a Florida retreat, Mariotti?
I am definitely buying. As somebody who has caught the ire of Chicago myself,
yes.
I understand when it's time to get out of town. You know, Florida, St. Louis, Costa Rica, New Zealand, get out of town, Bartman.
So what do you do now that you're on national television, Jay, and the whole country feels the way Chicago feels about you? Adande.
I'm selling. He should go out to Arizona just like one of those mob guys like Sammy the Bull Gravano. If he's out there, not only can he get away from everything, he can go get a disguise and go see his Cubbies play in spring training, where if he catches a foul ball there, it doesn't cost the team the World Series.
It's true, Paige.
I'm selling. I don't understand what Adani was talking about. He should stay in Chicago, face the people. They're the ones who made the mistake. You don't blame a fan. You don't blame Bartman. Paige knows the problems, and Paige says stay in Chicago and look them down.
All right, fine. I said Paige. I like to mix it up once in a while. What are you going to break my chops over that? Tim.
I'm selling. You know, the Rangers used to train in Pompano Beach. That is no vacation spot. I'm sorry. And Jay, he doesn't have to leave Chicago. He just needs to move to the South Side. He'll be a hero.
So look, you know what? I'm against him taking that offer. Why should he be rewarded? He didn't cost him the game, but if I was in Chicago, I'd be upset. The Anthony Jeffrey Mayor. You're supposed to try and help your team. He hurt his team. He should have to stay there and face the music. Even though I do feel bad for the guy. Who's gone? It's got to be it's Tim
I'll ask you later, Kalishaw.
That was a very good point. I think we're losing this thing. Out of bounds is next.
Coming up, the LeBron Show goes on the road to Hollyweird. Is it worth watching King James against the Regal Lakers in preseason? Plus, they don't scare you like they used to, but will the Irish play spoilers with the Trojans in town? the Horn. It's around the horn where after 2 rounds, here's how they stand. Woody Page has 26, J.A. Adande has 25, Jay Mariotti has 26, and Tim Cowlishaw is obsessing about Fatback McSwain. And now, it's out of bounds.
It's out of bounds where it's all inbounds. First topic. In their tradition of memorializing pop culture, the U.S. Postal Service has announced the latest icon to join the likes of Elvis and Marilyn Monroe on a postage stamp. The new guy? Theodore Geisel, a.k.a. Dr. Seuss. If I ran the zoo, said young Gerald McGrew, I'd make a few changes if that's what I'd do. Love Dr. Seuss. Guys, of all the people who've appeared on a postage stamp, who most didn't deserve the honor? J.A. Adande.
Chuck D might say Elvis Presley was here the most. He didn't mean a thing to me. Come on, Elvis, what's this guy do? He gets up there, spent the latter part of his career eating, sitting around his big house in Graceland. This guy deserves a stamp. We're supposed to lick him and send postage off to honor this? What did he accomplish?
J.A., what are you doing picking on the king? I'm not here ragging out Otis Redding, who had 2 hits. I'm not talking about Max Kellerman's uncle, who was on food stamps. I'm telling you about...
My uncle, Uncle Al, lives in North Carolina. He's a great guy. What are you talking about, Woody?
John Hanson. He was the first president of the United States. I know you guys don't know that, but he was elected to the Continental Congress. He was elected president. Then they changed the U.S. Constitution. He was the guy who declared the 3rd Thursday in November as Thanksgiving. What is that all about?
You know, this should be about racial pioneers and war heroes, not people like Marilyn Monroe. You just saw her on there. Other than having the talent to stand by a subway hole and having the air fly up on her dress, what talent did she have?
I mean, she hooked more historical figures than Marilyn Monroe.
Wait, what was that? That's right. Not only did she sleep with the Kennedys, she slept with Sinatra, Joe DiMaggio, Arthur Miller. Jay, come on, she did plenty in her lifetime.
You're jealous, Max.
Joe DiMaggio's face, that should hurt you as a Yankee fan.
Why? What about Joe DiMaggio's face?
Well, because she soured his life. And that never made him feel good.
Richard Ben Kramer book reveals a lot about that. What do you think about that, Woody? Next topic. The remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a slasher movie based on a true story, opens tomorrow. The original was a great film, and the previews for the remake look promising. Guys, how do you feel about slasher films? J.A.?
Oh, I love it. I'm all for it. Come on, how can you not like these great franchise series like A Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th? Some of the great characters they've given us. Leatherface, Freddy Krueger. Come on, the slasher face is a great genre. The slasher.
But at Donde, there's enough gore and violence and terrorism in the world. I could turn on CNN or a newscast to get all of that. I don't need some Woody Page lookalike wielding a chainsaw all over Arkansas, which is, I think, what Woody once did once upon a time.
You want blood, you want gore, you want violence. Read a Jay Mariotti column after one of his teams loses.
I do.
This is fun. You suspend reality. You go. Kill Bill is just the ultimate slasher film. It's all about suspending your beliefs, going to the movies, being entertained for a couple hours. Mariotti, you just don't get it.
Yeah, Mariotti, go ahead.
Oh, I like watching a comedy. I do get it. I have a life, Woody. Comedies, good documentaries, not horror movies.
Don't you need a nice change of pace after watching the Cubs?
By the way, Kill Bill is not really a slasher film. A slasher film implies that there's a chase going on. It's not just about the blood and guts and the gore. And by the way, Adande, this is based on a true story. Leatherface is based on a real guy. Doesn't that change it a little bit for you?
No.
Not at all? In that case, you're out of here. And the showdown is next. Love it when Mariotti and Page get it on.
Coming up, is Jessica Simpson irresistible? Or is it a turnoff that she can't tell the difference between a verb and a noun? The Horn!
Coming up on a 90-minute Sports Center, Pedro, Rocket, round 2. Who's got the edge? And how the Marlins manage the impossible. Who finishes the NFL weekend undefeated? Sports Center, 6 Eastern, ESPN.
Showdown time. But first, disembodied boys.
Bonjour.
What did we miss?
You yesterday? Not. The Missouri fan who got decked by a Nebraska player could face misdemeanor trespassing charges for his trouble. And Daily Variety reports that Kevin James, the King of Queens, is attached to a movie project based on Steve Bartman's Tuesday night gaffe at Wrigley. I guess so both the people who didn't see it can experience it in low-budget fictional form.
What took him so long to make that movie? First topic. 4th-ranked USC travels to South Bend to take on 2-3 Notre Dame on Saturday. The Trojans are in the thick of the national championship hunt at 5-1, while the Irish are fresh off an upset of number 16 Pitt last week. Who will win the 75th meeting, Notre Dame or USC? 15 seconds each. Mariani.
Notre Dame has no chance. Of course, it's USC. You know, the good news for Notre Dame, they found a great running back last week. Julius Jones broke the school rushing record. The bad news, USC has the 5th rushing defense in America. The Wild Bunch, too, on the front line. No chance for Notre Dame.
They're coming into Notre Dame. You've been there. You know the tradition. You know how tough it is to win in South Bend. Not only that, but Notre Dame, you talked about defense, has the 14th overall ranked defense in the entire country. If they can keep it close, it's been proven under Willingham, they win in the fourth quarter.
No, listen, Woody, you argued valiantly. Do you really believe that?
No.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give you the point for arguing. Next topic. LeBron James says it's like a dream come true to play at the Staples Center. He leads the Cavs tonight against the Lakers, who will be without Kobe Bryant and probably without Shaquille O'Neal, who's nursing a heel injury. Would you pay to see LeBron in L.A. without Kobe and Shaq? 15 seconds each. Woody, go.
No way. I wouldn't go to the game tonight for one reason. Forget who's not going to be in the game. Boston and New York. Why in the world would you go see LeBron? You'll see him for the next 15 years when you can see the Rocket against Pedro. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Woody, the game starts even before the East Coast baseball game. Yeah, I'd go watch it. You know why? Because this is the time to see the curiosity of LeBron James. I'm very interested in how he is going to develop. If I'm in L.A., yeah, I'd stop by and watch the ball game.
Do you believe that, Jay, what you just said?
I think so.
You know, he's being dishonest right now, and I like, Woody, your point, the Boston-New York point, but in general, you know what we mean. Of course you pay to see LeBron play against anyone.
Nice.
I want to see this go 3. Last topic. Donovan McNabb said Wednesday not only that the Eagles are still the team to beat in the NFC East, but added, is Dallas for real? Are they the best team? Clearly, if you watch the film, they're not. Are the Eagles, in fact, still the team to beat in the NFC East? 30 seconds for the game. Mariani.
I'm going to say they are because the Redskins have no defense. The Giants are struggling offensively. I'm still not sold on Dallas. You know, once the Eagles get their secondary people back and Donovan's thumb heals, the next 3 weeks they've got the Giants, the Jets, and Atlanta. Why can't Philadelphia get on a roll?
You know that's a stretch, and that's unlike you. This division is so wide open with Dallas and with the Redskins who are hanging in there, and you know the Giants are going to get better. The Eagles are not the team to beat. There are 4 teams, and it's wide open, and it could be any of them.
Pick a team, Paige.
Jay, did you believe what you just said?
Yes, I did.
No,
he didn't
you
pick a
didn't.
team.
Yes, it doesn't matter. I asked if the Eagles the team to beat. Woody Page wins, and he gets 15 seconds of FaceTime.
This month is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and tomorrow is National Mammography Day. I am asking you, I'm begging you, I'm telling you to tell your loved ones to go get an examination. The best chance for a cure is early detection.
Talking right to our audience. That's going to do it, folks. We're on a 23.5-hour break. See you Friday around the horn.
The hell with you. You're not important.
Around the Horn is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For up-to-the-minute sports information, log on to ESPN.com.
What was that oral problem you had?
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Screw the GOAT, screw the fan, screw the world, and Tony, screw you too.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Gather the Cubs didn't win last night.
Yeah, well, you guessed right.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, Wilbon laments the end of the line for the Cubs while Red Sox fans hold their breath, work their rosary beads, and prepare for another cold winter staring into the deep abyss.
God.
We start with tonight's Game 7 at Yankee Stadium to send the Yankees or the Red Sox to the World Series. Now, I'm not saying, Wilbon, the game will live up to the hype, but it is impossible to overhype a Game 7 where the starting pitchers are Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez, who are quite likely the 2 greatest right-handed pitchers in the last 20 years. What do you expect in the Bronx tonight?
You know what? I suspect it will take my mind off the Cubs, which we'll get to later, because I can't wait for this. I suspect both these guys go deep into the game, maybe give up 1 run each. I see a 1-1 game. They both go out either deep in the 7th or early in the 8th inning, and then the real drama will commence.
Do you see violence? Do you see throwing batteries?
No,
do you see anything directed at Pedro?
They cannot afford to hit people and put them on base. It is not a time for messages. You may brush a guy back to pitch inside so you can reclaim the inside part of the plate. But no, there's no hitting people today. People will stay away.
What about the fans? Will they try and get to Pedro?
As far as I'm concerned, in my life of going there and covering events, is a well-behaved place when it matters. This is not like bat day in the middle of May where somebody's going to throw some batteries. I don't see that.
See, I think the last two pitchers on earth you can intimidate are Roger Clemens or Pedro Martinez.
I agree with you.
I think you saw that in Game 3 when Clemens in Fenway outpitched Pedro. Now, you know where I stand on Pedro. You know I think that he's the best guy out there right now. But he's working on 4 days rest for the 4th or 5th time. It wouldn't surprise me at all if neither of these guys even got through the 6th inning. And then it goes to the bullpens.
Well,
and
4
then
days rest is not
that's
short rest, Tony. Guys ought to be able to pitch on 4 days
he weighs
rest.
140 pounds.
No, he doesn't.
He's
He weighs 185 pounds.
He's not the world's strongest guy. What I think works in the Red Sox favor, and this is hard for me to say as a New Yorker, is that the Red Sox bats came alive at exactly the right time. Last night,
particularly
they had 16 hits.
Nomar.
Yeah, who had done nothing.
I think that's an inspiration. I think they have to go into today's game feeling great about themselves and their chances. But you know what? Derek Jeter always manages to do something great in these games, doesn't he?
He's a great October player, Derek Jeter.
Well, the only thing worse than the Cubs not making it to October is making it and then collapsing into a heap the way they did in Game 6 Tuesday and Game 7 last night. I think it's the most demoralizing collapse ever for a franchise known for its futility. Kerry Wood gave up 7 earned runs, and despite a brief lead, the Cubs were too demoralized to recover. Tony, you're a New Yorker who has gotten his first really extended, up-close experience with the culture of the Cubs and their fans. So what do you think?
This is not Will and Grace. I'm not going to reach out and touch you and comfort you in any way. But I feel badly for you. I mean, last night, as you know, I left you a message. When Kerry Wood hit that home run, I thought it was an omen of great things. Then Lou hits a home run, and I called you and I said, I really think the Cubs are going to win. But I guess I'm in that thing with Dusty Baker where we don't get it.
But you get more of it now, don't you? Don't you understand a little bit? What 2 days ago, not to mention this yesterday, I said to Steve Stone, who we had as our guest, I said, Kerry Wood's going out.
I know.
How many earned runs he give up?
It's the
weight of it, Tony.
7.
It's the weight of all those years.
I would think, and I agree with Dusty Baker, that you walk into a clubhouse, you say, hey, we weren't born in 1945.
Denial.
We had nothing to do with any of these losses. We go out today and we win.
Denial.
You have your 2 best pitchers going in Pryor and Wood.
That's logic.
You're at home where you are beloved, where they pack the stands all the time.
Where there's so much pressure to win. You know what the Cubs' record at home in Wrigley Field was in the postseason? I believe it was 2-4. You know what their record was on the road in the postseason? 4-2. See, it speaks to the pressure of trying to win in this place where so much is expected of you.
Well, you can see it with Kerry Wood trying to overthrow, and
every
curveballs were falling 4 feet short of the plate.
Kerry Wood did not choke. He said he choked.
No, he did not choke.
He tried so hard, Tony. He wanted so desperately to win for these people.
See, here's the part that I don't get.
All the time. He couldn't locate his
pitches.
pitches.
Where I grew up, growing up in New York, there's a tremendous amount of teams. And every once in a while, somebody wins. So there's been winning in my lifetime. I can't imagine to be in your situation, to have gone all this time and never even gotten to the World Series.
You know what?
It's like every time they hand out a pie, there's no piece for you.
the rest of my life and not see. I think this team and this group of guys, I think they got a year to get back in there now while it's fresh in their minds to overcome this. 1 year.
Let me tell you who may not have a year, and it's Bartman. Unfortunately for him, he has become the living symbol of all the Cubs fans' frustration this year. He's a 26-year-old guy who made the mistake of his life, reaching out for that foul fly in Game 6. He has since apologized profusely. Chicago's your town, Michael. Bartman's got an offer from the governor of Florida, a legit offer, to move there and have asylum. Is this a gots-to-go situation for Bartman?
Sadly, I think so, Tony. The rational side of me says, you know what? We're not going to be this crazy. This was a game. A guy made a natural reaction to reach for a foul ball, which we all do. That's the rational side of me. I grew up in Chicago. I know the pain there. I know that people are not as forgiving as we all want that city and the people who live there to be. It's a gots-to-go situation. But this Florida thing's not funny.
Why?
See, Jeb Bush may think it's funny. Come on down. Ha, ha, ha. We'll accept you here in Florida. People aren't laughing in Chicago. And I hope that people are forgiving enough to leave this guy alone. But, Tony, I think it is very likely that the longer we go, he will be right there with the GOAT. and Mrs. O'Leary's cow and all the tragic things about Chicago.
The shortstop, Gonzalez, he's off the hook. Your boy Farnsworth, he's off the hook. Because all the sins of Chicago, like with the original scapegoat, are going to be put on this guy's back. Now, they offered him 3 months free in an oceanfront condo in Pompano Beach. Get on a plane. Go December, January, February, escape the wind.
That's just going to enrage people. Because then,
they're not enraged now?
Well, you know what? We can become more enraged. I mean, it's a city known. The words Al and Capone mean anything to you? This is a city that prides itself on this, and I'm not proud of it. All I'm saying to you is don't think that people can't become more enraged if they think he was somehow in cahoots with the Florida people. But that's not good.
You need to tell the truth.
He needs to go on Oprah. He needs to be on Oprah, a Chicagoan, go on Oprah. I hope that Alou and Wood and Pryor and Sammy and Jordan and Ditka and people come forward and say, you know what? It was a foul ball. Leave him alone.
Okay, what if one of those people just comes forward and bops him one time? You know you feel good. Just bop him one time.
I can't admit to that. I won't do it. The Florida Marlins finished with a better record than the Cubs. They've got more speed than the Cubs. Play station to station traditional National League Baseball better than the Cubs. Have a decidedly better bullpen than the Cubs and a better leader in Pudge Rodriguez than anybody the Cubs have had in years and years. So, Tony, did the Marlins get a raw deal all week having everybody root against them, even though they're probably a better team?
No, they did not get a raw deal. They happened to be in a circumstance where 3 historic franchises, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Cubs, were up to get into the World Series.
And the Giants the week before, for that matter.
And people in America want to see the Cubs in the series against the Red Sox. The Yankees would be okay, but they'd like to see them there against the Red Sox. The Florida Marlins got no disrespect nationally any more than they get in their own home, where they average 16,000 people in Florida. This franchise should have been contracted 3 years ago. And I don't know how you can sit here on this set and not say it's a joke that they've got 1 World Series ring and could get another and you got none.
No, my emotion is never aimed at that team. I told you I thought that team was pretty damn good.
It's a very good team.
It is.
But they should not have been put in the elite status where everybody should say they got disrespected. It's got nothing to do with it.
Right.
We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll head out to Yankee Stadium to see if the fans have already started smuggling in their batteries to throw at Pedro Martinez.
You can't suggest that.
Oh, Zim, there he goes. Zim, you're the top, baby.
Pardon the interruption. Presented by New Smirnoff Ice Triple Black. Triple filtered for a crisp, clean bite. And in part by 1010-987. No commitment. It's 3 cents a minute and 39 cents to connect. 1010-987.
Tonight at 7:30, Colorado has reloaded and is ready to make another run at the Cup against the Wild. Or an ACC shootout as Clemson tries to keep up with Phillip Rivers and his prolific passing attack. And at 10, 2 of the Mountain West's top QBs take center stage as Chance Harrington Air Force tangle with Bradley Van Pelt in Colorado State. October has it all on ESPN and ESPN2 tonight.
Time to go out to Yankee Stadium, where we are joined by PTI's baseball authority, Richard Justice of the Houston Chronicle. Let's get to security measures first. The threat of people doing ill to Pedro Martinez. How serious do the Yankees take that, and what's the security?
Well, the Yankees take security here pretty seriously every night. This is about as safe a ballpark as you can be in. I don't think it's going to be an issue here tonight. You know what Pedro needs more than security. He needs a fastball. He didn't have that before, and that's the big question for the Red Sox. He threw 130 pitches one game against Oakland, 100 pitches the next game. He wasn't in very good shape to pitch in that game, so that's the bigger concern right now.
Richie, so it sounds like then you're wondering whether Pedro can have his stuff.
Cub?
Yeah, still Mr. Cub. I'm not wearing a hat today. Is it possible that Pedro can get past 5-6 innings today with his stuff, given what you just said, all those innings pitched?
Well, I don't know. You know, he had a real high-stress series against Oakland, and his velocity was 4 or 5 miles an hour below. Normally, he starts off at 90 miles an hour in a game and then can bust it 93, 94 when he needs to. He didn't have that, and he got frustrated, and he threw at a guy. That's how it all started. Richie,
is there any indication that Pedro and Don Zimmer have even communicated with each other? What's the latest on Zim? Is he granting interviews? Is he laying low? What's up with that?
No, Zimmy's available. No, there's no communication. There's no love lost. There's not going to be any communication. Don Zimmer, for all you can say, he maybe didn't use the best judgment, but he didn't go after the smallest guy in the fight. He went out there and tried to fight the meanest guy on the block. And the feelings are real and they're hard. And no, there's not going to be any talks.
You are talking about the fact that Pedro may not have enough juice to get far in this game. Let's talk about Clemens. Let's say Clemens can only get through 4 or 5, maybe 6. How do they get to Mariano Rivera after Clemens?
Well, you've just brought up Boston's best hope to win. I mean, the Yankees went through 17 different setup men this year to find guys that can get them from the starters to Mariano Rivera. And right now, I would say Mike Mussina is probably the #1 guy out of there. Obviously, he's not going to trust a lot of the guys he put in there yesterday. It's a big, big problem. They need 6 or 7 out of Roger Clemens. And that's what will decide this game, that and Pedro's effectiveness.
Would it be Mussina over Wells, or would they go with Wells because he's been so effective in the postseason?
Well, it's all hands on deck right now. I think Mussina's a little more rested. He would get the ball first.
Okay, all right, let's get to Steinbrenner, because it always comes down to Steinbrenner. What would be worse for George Steinbrenner, losing to the Boston Red Sox, the hated Boston Red Sox now, or losing to the Marlins in the World Series?
Well, losing to the Red Sox would be volcanic, and losing Game 6 last night was pretty bad for a lot of the employees who were in an office with him right behind the press box. It was a very unpleasant night, and if the Yankees lose this game, all bets are off as far as what happens. This is, as you know, this has been a tough season. He's been hard on people all year, almost irrational at times. So, there's no way to measure what would happen next.
Richie, that leads me to this. I mean, a team accustomed to losing like the Cubs won't necessarily blow up things because they just lost a heartbreaker. If the Yankees lose, do you expect George to look at this team and start to just blow it up?
I expect him to try to fix it, first of all, what he always does. But I expect him to either fire people or threaten to fire people. With every losing streak this year, there's been speculation in the papers that Joe Torre would be fired. Brian Cashman, who's done a great job as general manager, would be in jeopardy. The problem is he's irrational. He would be angry, and you just don't know what he would do.
See, the thing is, Richie, you're playing into Wilbon's hands now because he hates Steinbrenner, considers, if Lucchino didn't call him the Evil Empire, Wilbon would have called him the Evil Empire.
I thought of it, Richie. I do.
It's a terrible.
Hey, look, they've done it. Yeah, they've done a great job. They have a lot of money. But look, the Dodgers have money. The Orioles have money. Other teams have money. They know what they're doing. They built it around pitching. And tonight, their blueprint is on display for everybody. If it works out with Roger Clemens, you can say, hey, they knew what they were doing. And this is the way it's set up. This is the way it's supposed to be. The Red Sox and Yankees playing Game 7 with Roger Clemens on the mound. I mean, they're poised to win. They may not win, but they're poised to win.
Well, let's get to that. Let's take a prediction from you in 2 words or less, either Red Sox or Yankees. Who's going to win Game 7?
The Red Sox.
That's 3 words.
Red
You said
Sox.
the.
Wow.
Thank you, Richie.
Thanks, Richie.
Justice. We're taking a break. When we come back, what's next in the wonderful world of Zimmer? And later, all the college coaches are meeting in Chicago. So where's Bob Knight?
Yeah, helicopter. The helicopter over Yankee Stadium. Might have been looking for Bartman. A news crew looking for Bartman.
I thought it was protection for justice for doing this. There are other battles beyond Pedro and Clemens tonight, so let's sort them out. Wilbon, what's the first one?
Toss up Nomar or Jeter?
Jeter. Nomar is a great player, but Jeter, here's the difference between Nomar and Jeter. If I am Nomar and I hold up my left hand, you see a hand without any jewelry.
Yep.
If I am Jeter and I hold up my left hand, you see 4 rings on it, and it weighs down my hand. Jeter is Mr. October.
I'd love to disagree with you, Kemosabe. However, World Series MVP in 2000, Jeter. Most hits in postseason history,
Jeter.
344 hitter in October,
Jeter.
He's as clutch as anybody who's ever played, and that includes playing for the Yankees.
Now, Nomar Garciaparra hasn't had the chance to do all these things,
but
and he had 4 hits last night and made up for an error.
Huge.
But Jeter has the wins. And when you think of the great plays in the postseason, how about the toss, and then they tagged Jeremy Giambi? How about that?
You're a New Yorker. Is he number 2 to DiMaggio in terms of clutch October
I'm
play?
not that old. What's next?
Toss up Ortiz or Giambi?
Giambi is a wonderful player. But I'm taking David Ortiz, and here's why. 17 game-winning hits this year. 7 home runs against the Yankees this year. The other night, in order to get him out on strikes, the umpire invented the fact that he foul-tipped the ball. Well, he didn't foul-tip the ball. I'm taking him right now, Ortiz, right now.
Taking Giambi. He has done this. He has been in these situations in Oakland and now in New York. He has never embarrassed himself.
No,
he has always been a team guy, not a selfish player. If it's not a time to jack home runs, he'll go to the opposite field. He'll do what you need to. He'll hit and run things. Power hitters don't often want to do.
I'm not diminishing him.
I know.
I am saying that in this season, in this year, the hot guy right now is Ortiz. You got to give me Ortiz.
Today, I'm going to take Giambi. Or tonight,
you'd be making a mistake.
Giambi.
What's next?
Toss up. Who's your bullpen?
Yankees are my bullpen, and by bullpen, I mean Mariano Rivera, the greatest late-season closer in the history of the game. Now, they're in trouble if they can't get to Rivera, if they have to bring in Messina or Wells to get to Rivera, because the rest of the bullpen stinks on wheat. But I'm taking Rivera.
Word setup, man. The words setup man mean anything to you. No, look,
they're gone.
When the postseason started, I said the Cubs and Red Sox could not win because their bullpens were awful.
Right.
The Cubs bullpen remained awful. Boston's got better.
Great.
25 innings.
Got great.
2 earned runs. Timlin. I don't need to have Wakefield come in and just be a starter coming in.
But if
they've got
the Yankees can get to the 8th inning, and they bring in the hammer of God. Now, he's lost once to the Diamondbacks.
I agree. But if the hammer comes in with a lead, but you got to get to him, and I don't know they can.
Next.
Toss up. Who's got the more annoying fans?
The Mets have more annoying fans than the Yankees. Now, everybody says the New York fans are the same. They're not the same. The Yankees fans are okay. They got a screwball owner who's very, very demanding. But Yankee fans are okay. Red Sox fans are so self-righteous, which is ridiculous, because they sit there and they go, woe is me. How are we going to find a way to lose? You know what, Wilbon? I would rather be in the company of people who expect to win than people who expect to lose.
Well, you got the wrong guy here sitting with you, because you know I expect
I
to lose.
understand
I got simpatico right now with the Red Sox fans. I'm not going to say that the New York Yankee fans are obnoxious, because I haven't seen that much. I've been to Yankee Stadium a lot of times.
They're not.
I'm going to have to say the Red Sox fans, along with the Cub fans. I mean, the two of us, if I'm outside that circumstance, and I'm looking in at Bostonians and Chicagoans, I'm going, I'm tired of both these sets of people, and I got a lot in common right now with the Red Sox fans.
Don't you get sick of Red Sox fans saying that they listened on a transistor in Cape Cod, broke their heart? Shut up. What's next?
Last one. Toss up. How do you like your Zimmer? Brawling or balling?
I like him brawling. I want Zim at age 72 to go out there like a fat, overfed rhinoceros and take a shot at Pedro. If you have to suffer the consequences, then you suffer them. I want him to hold his metal-plated head up high.
Here's what, I'm like a guy who will try to go out and slap somebody, as you know. But here's the problem when you're Zim. You're not actually going to get there close enough and have enough energy to slap anybody. Okay. So sit in the dugout and get in touch with your softer side. I mean,
there's no crying in baseball. No, you can't be blubbering.
No fighting for Zim in baseball either.
But let me tell you something, Tony? He's not just old school. He is so old school that when he went to school, there was no history. It was current events.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I love Don Zimmer. He's the man.
A little desk.
He's the man in America right now. America
He's the man.
looks to Zim.
Is that what you think the man is?
He's the man.
Getting your head rammed into the turf?
Time for a
like
break.
A WWF
Don't go anywhere, because we still got to talk about Bobby Knight, Cordell Stewart, and whether the league is picking on our boy, poor little Warren Sapp.
You want Zim off the top rope? Is that what you want?
I want Zim. Delivering the...
Coming up on a 90-minute Sports Center, Pedro, Rocket, round 2. Who's got the edge? And how the Marlins manage the impossible. Who finishes the NFL weekend undefeated? Sports Center, 6 Eastern, ESPN.
Pardon the interruption. Presented by new Smirnoff Ice Triple Black. Triple filtered for a crisp, clean bite. And in part by TGI Fridays. Come in now for TGI Fridays Double Glazed Baby Back Ribs. Glazed twice for a one-of-a-kind taste. Only at Fridays.
Ooh, new voice. Happy 31st birthday to Cordell Stewart. Not a good week for Cordell. The Bears have announced Chris Chandler will start in Cordell's place this Sunday against Seattle. They say Cordell has a swollen leg. I've always liked Cordell. Wilbon, did you know he's got a higher passer rating this year than Donovan McNabb?
How can you put up a passer rating of any consequence when you're running for your life? And how's Chandler supposed to perform? He doesn't move that well behind that line.
I have no idea on that. Happy anniversary to the amazing Mets. On this day 34 years ago, you won the World Series. beating the Orioles in 5 games. You remember 1969, Wilbon? Weren't the Cubs in first place that summer?
Yeah, rub
Mets
it in.
won 100 games that season. They had never before won more than 73.
You know, I don't hate the Yankees, but I do hate the Mets, and that's a team of your youth.
Yes, it is. I like the Mets very much. Happy trails, Doug Johnson. You've been replaced as quarterback of the Falcons by Kurt Kittner, not to be confused with John Kittner. Wilbon and I wish Mr. Kittner all the luck in the world, but we suspect he's just keeping the seat warm for Mr. Michael Vick.
You know, Doug Johnson had a couple of good W's.
Yes,
he beat the Giants in New York last year, beat the Cowboys in Dallas to start this season. I'm a little surprised.
That team is set up for Vick.
Yeah.
Stat Boy, what did we do wrong?
Well, you went out on a limb, I think. Pedro and Clemens may be the 2 best right-handers of the last 20 years.
Because you could argue Maddox, but I would argue
and then that's
Pedro
the end of the list. Earl Kent Boyd's not sneaking on there. Wilbon, not Oprah. Cubs came out with a statement today, though. Quote, it's inaccurate and unfair to suggest that an individual fan is responsible for Game 6.
Came out with
late,
it
isn't
today,
it?
not after Game 6.
Please.
Here we go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Warren Sapp's teammates feel the league is picking on him. Do you agree?
He brushed a ref 50,000? Come on.
He sent you clothing yesterday.
Bob Knight did not go. It fit too. Didn't go to the coaches meeting. Defend your boy now.
I assumed that he would be there. He didn't talk to me and tell me why he wasn't going. He's a major college coach.
Letters.
Charles Oakley says Tim Floyd won't last the season in New Orleans. Do you agree?
He'll be like Tarkanian, who lasted about 9 games, right? He's out, Floyd.
Really?
The Bobcats hired Bernie Bickerstaff as coach and GM. Good decision?
It is, to me, a very surprising decision because he's had a lot of run in the league. When the Wizards let him go, I thought he was out of play. Aren't you surprised? Aren't you
a little
surprised?
bit. He's done both things, though. He's done
Aren't
coach
you surprised?
and GM.
I got the Red Sox tonight, reluctantly. Who you got?
I'm rooting for the Sox. My boys in misery, my Pete. But I think the Yankees are going to win Game 7 at Yankee
We're out of
Stadium.
time. Try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow. Dan Patrick and Sports Center next, going live to Yankee Stadium. PTI. PTI.
This is Sports Center. It all comes down to this. Pedro, the Rocket, and the electricity of New York City. Will lightning strike twice? And why these phenoms have a history. The Cubs once again go into early hibernation. Now do you believe in curses? How the Giants can turn over a new leaf. Why the Panthers won't change a thing. And undefeated Northern Illinois will get a BCS bid. Fact or fiction? Nothing fishy here. It's Sports Center now. It is sports' fiercest rivalry on America's biggest stage. The Red Sox and Yankees in a winner-take-all showdown at Yankee Stadium. Welcome to Sports Center. I'm Dan Patrick. Tonight's Game 7 between the Red Sox and Yankees is one of the most anticipated games of more than 180,000 played in Major League history. Here's Peter Gammons on the pitching stars aligned for this dramatic series finale.
After 6.5 months and 25 meetings between them, the Red Sox and Yankees have brought the American League pennant to a perfect ending. Another showdown between two of the greatest pitchers of this generation, Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens.
You sit in the backyard and you bring these matchups up in your head. So, you know, you have two Hall of Fame caliber guys going.
Let's admit it, this is it. And, you know, you really have to do a good job of talking yourself into making yourself believe it's just another baseball game.
I think Pedro Martinez would be on your top list if you're a manager. And I'm sure Roger Clemens is up there too, so that's what makes the game so special.
Where Saturday's Game 3 turned out to be ugly and anticlimactic, this Game 7 is dramatic history between two pitchers consumed with both drama and history.
Everybody got through the emotions of that last appearance on both sides of both teams, and we've both done a good job of returning to play baseball.
Roger, that game the other day, you know, yeah, he did get revved up and certainly stayed within himself. And hopefully it's the same.
I expect, Pedro to compete like he always does. And I expect Roger to do the same.
Tonight will be the 26th time the Red Sox and Yankees will have played this season, more than any two teams have ever played one another in 1 year. And for all their history, this is only the third time they've played in the final game to determine who goes home and who continues. In 1949 and 1978, the Yankees won. In 2003, it comes down to Martinez and Clemens for what may be the last time. At Yankee Stadium, this is Peter Gammons, ESPN.
Thank you, Peter. Back in 1986, Roger Clemens started and won Game 7 of the Red Sox American League Championship Series with the Angels. Today, Pedro Martinez is looking for his own Game 7 clinchers. The Bo Sox haven't been back to the Fall Classic since then, 1986. As fate would have it, Pedro's shot comes against Clemens in a rematch of their Game 3 Classic. What will the repercussions be for Martinez in front of a very raucous Yankee Stadium crowd? Sal Palantonio details Game 7 security measures.
At about 4:30 p.m., Pedro Martinez arrived on the Red Sox team bus and was immediately surrounded by a phalanx of plainclothes security, most of them New York police officers requested by the team in Major League Baseball, and then escorted into Yankee Stadium to a chorus of Bronx cheers. While New York's finest have been deployed at higher levels in and around Yankee Stadium to preempt any incidents, New York's tabloids on Thursday did their best to provide vivid reminders of what happened in Game 3, when Martinez threw at Kareem Garcia's head and then threw 72-year-old bench coach Don Zimmer on his head. According to police sources, both Martinez and Manny Ramirez have been assigned both a detective and sergeant from NYPD's Intelligence Division. And when Martinez warms up in the Red Sox bullpen, the NYPD will be out in full force, along with security officers from Major League Baseball. One police commander told me that the key tonight will not be the highly visible uniform presence in and around Yankee Stadium, but the security that you can't see. The stadium, he said, will be flooded with plainclothes NYPD and private security guards to make sure anything that does happen doesn't get out of hand. At Yankee Stadium, Sal Palantonio, ESPN.
This will mark the 26th time the Yankees and Red Sox will have met this season. That's the most two teams have ever met during one season.